Hello everyone, my name is Adrian Cox, and today I have a couple of techniques that I want to give you about how to position your neck. There's a lot of people who walk around with very bad posture. You've probably seen them, maybe you're one of them, and when these people get into a yoga class, if the yoga teacher isn't paying really close attention, can actually end up with worse lower back pain and tighter necks and shoulders and things like this. And the technique I'm about to teach you is going to possibly change all that. So put aside what your distractions are and let's practice. So the problem is that you get people who have bad posture in general, where their lower backs are kind of maybe weak and their bellies are hanging, no core strength, got tight shoulders, maybe even pain in the neck. And then you ask them to come to a yoga class and lift their chest, which is very important. They end up kind of lifting their chin instead of lifting their chest. And you'll see this when people do poses like all over, from flat back to lunges, downward dog, and even cobra, where it's all about the chin. And if that's done over and over, it'll end up making the neck tighter and the shoulders tighter and the core strength not as good, and it makes it harder to progress and also heal the body. What I want to do is I want to teach you a way of thinking about and using your neck that when you put it into practice consciously and slowly, that it can make a big difference in everything that you do. So first of all, just basic anatomy is that when people want to lift their chest, they have to do so by setting this bone, it's called the hyoid, back into place. And so if this is not set back, it's very difficult to lift the chest. The short version of this is that one way to handle this is to do something called your neck smile. Neck smile, well, you basically stick your fingers to the top of your throat like this and allow your fingers to guide you, where when the fingers come back, they go up beyond the jaw towards the ears, and your head starts to kind of slightly roll and face forwards like this. That's the neck smile. If you do it right, nothing else needs to be done. But if you end up moving from the chin, which a lot of people do, you end up with a tight part of the back of the neck. So you want to find, when you're doing this, that the throat comes back and that the soft part of the upper neck is nice and relaxed. You can feel for this if you stick your fingers right underneath the skull, and it should be soft here. It shouldn't be poking back where it gets hard and back. If it does, then you end up with a situation where the bone pops into an area where a nerve comes out, and that nerve innervates all the trapezius. So this kind of thing can end up making your shoulders tighter and tighter as well, even if the intention's good. So combining the neck smile and a soft upper neck are two techniques which, when applied, can make your shoulders open and feel relaxed, and your core strength work better. One simple way, another way of thinking about this, is to take your fingers down the back of your neck and to find the C7. The C7 is this bone. If you feel down your neck until you get to a bump, I have a tattoo right here which helps me to remember where that is. What I want to do is I want to be able to push this part in. If I slide the C7 forward into the body, this actually ends up creating a soft upper neck, a neck smile, and I can start to lift the chest and also tone the belly. If you want to see how this works inside of a yoga practice, let's try it on. And again, with all this, go slowly, be conscious, and try to apply it step by step so you can overcome the habits that you've had maybe in doing yoga in a faster way. So let's take the example of doing a sun salutation of whatever kind. And again, what you're learning here, if you apply it, you can actually take it into every single pose that you can think of. I use them in headstands, for example. One thing, so let's say you start with your standing. and your feet are on the floor, hip width apart. When you start to get your body into alignment, again, you want to kind of take this neck smile and align the back of the neck so that you get taller up towards the sky. This can start to come into when you do, let's say, lifting your arms, or imagine like a slight back bend, that if I bring my arms up to the sky like this, that I can actually do so and check that I have first my chest lifting and my C7 pulling in, so that I'm kind of lifting like this, looking more up like in this direction, rather than sticking the head back first, which ends up making the belly sort of tight and the lower back kind of weak. As you'll remember in the last image where that girl was sticking her chin up like this, what we want to do instead is we want to pull the throat back and pull that C7 in so that the chest ends up lifting forwards and you end up looking on the floor not too far in front of your feet. When you bring the self into lunges, for example, again, avoiding this cranking up of the neck, which makes the belly splay forwards, and instead, see if you can kind of move the throat back. The back of the neck is soft, and the C7 pulled in, and then you start to get longer. This will develop your core strength in many ways. When you bring yourself into downward facing dog, same thing. Again, avoid this kind of over sinking into the shoulders and the neck cranking back in this way. This only makes your back weak and your neck tight. Instead, you can do the same thing but pull the throat forwards. You may want to even sort of check the back of your neck that it's long. The chest is moving up instead of down. When you're coming from here, all sorts of things to do. When you come into the cobra, we want to start with your forehead onto the floor instead of lifting the chin first. This is a big problem going like this. Instead, look just a little bit forwards onto the floor and imagine if you had 4 arms that you could pull your throat back, that the back of the neck is soft, if you could check it, and that you're starting to lift up in this way. Once you're up to a certain degree, then possibly you can start to lift the chin up and back a little bit. But definitely practice not lifting the chin first, but rather lifting the throat back and up. The examples of those poses, again, you want to be practicing in pretty much everything. Even when I come to sit like in a meditation asana, I want to check my neck because this starts to lift the spine and make things a lot lighter. So throat back, soft neck, maybe the C7 pulled in as a kind of an alignment guide so that this brings a lot of lightness into my body and also starts to pull upwards from the belly. There's a lot of anatomy to talk about this, and we will be going into that in much more detail in future courses. And again, if this brought up questions about your body, leave a question down there in the comments and I'll try to get to it. I hope you enjoyed watching and that this was informative, and have a great day. Namaste.